have an abundance mindset, and an abundance mindset versus a scarcity mindset. So you may have seen people or run into people. Sometimes I call them the Eeyores of the world. It's never enough. It's not going to work. There's not enough money to go around. There's not enough deals. I'm never going to be able to do this. It's just, if somebody else is more successful, so there's no crumbs left for me, that type of thing. That's a scarcity mindset. And I really believe that in order to have a mindset of success, you have to have an abundance mindset rather than a scarcity mindset. You need to realize that life is not a zero-sum game, and that others do not have to lose for us to win, or that if others win, we automatically lose. I personally think there's enough resources, deals, people, time, money for everybody to pursue what they want to pursue and be successful at it. So I just think if everybody had this abundance mindset, it would really help push us down that runway to success. And there's a woman named Lynn Christian who has a website called soulsalt.com. And I think she has a great perspective on living with an abundance mindset. I'm going to read a little bit here, but she believes that, quote, living in abundance means to see the endless potential in yourself and others. When you expand your perspective and develop an abundance mindset, you can open your life up to limitless opportunities. She believed the key traits of abundance are thinking big, a growth mindset, optimism, knowing there's enough to go around, generosity of spirit, that's a big one for me, embracing change, taking action, planning ahead, having an open mind, and knowing your own strengths and weaknesses. And if you go to her website, soulsalt.com, she explains each of those in a little more detail. And this is also a quote from her. When you step out of a scarcity mindset, you step into a world of endless possibilities. You realize your own strengths and you develop them with confidence. You value yourself, and as a result, you celebrate the value in others. When you want to see everyone succeed, you help others more readily. And I think when we adopt this abundance mindset, our attitude attracts opportunities in all areas of our life. All right, let me get past her quote. So the fourth part of mindset for me, and it's not really mindset, it's a little bit towards taking action, but it is setting SMART goals. And you guys have probably heard of that SMART acronym, S.M.A.R.T. And so once you've set aside your limiting beliefs or you started to conquer them, you have your very strong why, you've adopted abundance and abundance mindset. Now it's time to start setting some goals. And those goals need to be SMART. And SMART stands for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. We're going to go about those here in a minute. And so I think the first thing when you're setting your goals is decide what you're aiming for, right? You can't have a goal if you don't know what you're aiming for. What's your definition of financial freedom? I told you, to me, it is doing what I want, when I want, where I want, so on and so on. And that could mean jumping on a jet at any time and going to see my future grandchildren. That could cost some money. I'm in the process of planning an epic European journey for my birthday in 2023. That is not cheap. So my financial freedom involves having some significant income and possibly some significant wealth. Yours may not. Your idea of financial freedom may be to just go live in a cabin in the woods and live off the land and be very, very simple. That might not take you much money. But whatever your desire is and your dream is, figure out what that looks like to you. What do you want to be doing every day? And what will that cost? What will that cost you? When you determine that estimated cost of your desired lifestyle, by the way, my friend Dr. David Phelps calls that your freedom number. What is the amount of income you would need every year to be financially free to live in the manner in which you choose to live? And so once you have that freedom number, and if it's a monthly number, of course, multiply it by 12 to get an annual number. Once you have that annual freedom number, you need to gross up that number for income taxes. So take what you want to net, what you'd like to live on, and then add back in the amount of money you would have to make so that after you take out taxes, you'd have your freedom number. So for instance, if your state and federal income taxes total 30%, and I'm just making up numbers, 30%, then you need to multiply your freedom number by 130% or 1.3 to get the gross amount of income you would need to net your freedom number after taxes. So give you an example, if my freedom number were $20,000 a month, then my numbers would look like this. I would take $20,000 a month. I would multiply that by 12 to get an annual freedom number of $240,000. If my income tax brackets totaled 30%, then I would want to take that 240,000, multiply it by 1.3 to get the amount of gross income I would need to net 240,000 after income taxes. That gross number is 312,000. So when I'm setting my SMART goals, I'm setting them to be able to make $312,000 a year so that I can net after taxes $240,000 a year or $20,000 a month. So hopefully that makes sense. Pretty simple. So once you have your freedom number and your gross amount of income you have to make to get to that freedom number, then you're going to want to actually set your goals on how to get there. And that's going to depend in part on your investment strategy and what you decide to do, right? But every time you set your goals, make sure you make them specific. Okay, so let's talk about specific. If I was trying to lose weight, I wouldn't just say, well, I'm going to set a goal to lose weight. That's not specific. Vague goals usually don't get met. That's pretty vague. I might want to say, I want to lose 20 pounds. So that's more specific. I want to lose 20 pounds. It needs to be measurable. Well, obviously weight loss is measurable, but let's say we're talking about financial. You wouldn't just say, I want to be rich. You might want to say, I want to add an extra $100,000 to my income every year for the next 5 years. Or I want to have a net worth of $1 million or whatever it is. Pick your number, but be specific and make it something that you can measure and track. It needs to be attainable. You have to believe that your goals are attainable or your mind will shut you down and you will not proceed. So believe it's attainable. If I wanted to say, I want to add $1 million a year in income, my mind can't believe that's attainable right now, an extra $1 million every year in income. So maybe I go back to, I'm going to add $100,000 in income this year. And then next year, maybe I'll add another 100 and I work my way up, or maybe next year I'll add 200. I'm going to work my way up to as I can believe these goals. So specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, which to me is very much like attainable, but make sure they're relevant and realistic for your life. And then the T is time bound. You need to give them a time period in which you're going to accomplish these goals, because basically a goal without a deadline is just a dream. Somebody said that. I don't know who said that. I didn't make it up, but I think that's incredibly important to have a timeline for your goals. So if you use that SMART framework to set your goals to get to your freedom number, I think you're much more likely to be successful. And then go back and revisit those goals, whether it's weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually, revisit them, tweak your processes, tweak your goals. You can't just sit down and decide once and never, ever have to change them again. Life happens. Go back and tweak your goals as you need to.